Reporters have been out and about checking out some of the damage. You can see this tree here, right here down in southeast Atlanta. Even as the sun rose this morning, thousands of people are still without power. So we check in with our friends at the National Weather Service in Peachtree City. Meteorologist Lusk, how you doing, man? He's senior forecaster for the National Weather Service out of Peachtree City. How you doing this morning, my friend?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Talk to me about those storms overnight, man. Pretty powerful, right?
Yeah, they definitely packed a punch in some areas. One of the biggest areas right now that we've seen is kind of what you were talking about, where we saw some trees down and stuff like that in southern portions of the metro. So it happened overnight, so we're waiting on reports and things to roll in right now. But we saw definitely some pretty significant power outages, and we've already gotten some tree reports out of like Clayton County, portions of Henry County, as well as over into like Fayette and even parts of Coweta County. And then go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You go ahead. Go right ahead, sir.
And then we also had some, those storms kind of continued down towards the southwest, and we do have a little pocket of damage that happened in northern Upton County that we are planning on at least going out and doing a survey for today. It looks like we may have had a brief tornado that could have occurred in that area. So,
yeah, I was just about to say, yeah, like around 1 o'clock in the morning or so, we had that one tornado warning down there in Upton. Is it possible that there could have been or another one in other areas, or do we think that was just kind of straight line wind damage that knocked some of these trees down?
For the most part right now, we think everything else was likely straight line wind damage. We did see some pretty significant wind gusts, upwards of 60 miles an hour in some areas, and that will absolutely do some pretty significant tree damage, especially in and around North Georgia and parts of the Atlanta metro. But the only place we're worried about, at least a tornado right now, is down there in Upton County.
Is this rare for us this time of year?
It's definitely a little more on the unusual side to get a tornado, and this was definitely not we'll say, traditional tornadic thunderstorm by any means. It's not a normal way that we would go about getting a tornado. We actually had two kind of boundaries with thunderstorms that have formed both to the north of Upton County and thunderstorms that have formed to the south of Upton County. And those things kind of put out air. That air collided. You can get some turbulence and some circulation that happens with that. And if things line up just right, you can turn that around and you can get a little tornadic circulation out of something like that. So it's not unheard of, but it's definitely on the rare end for this area.
We're expecting another round of thunderstorms to come in tonight. We have a marginal risk for severe weather over us. Could we see more of this tonight? And even could it be as widespread, or will it be more isolated?
We're expecting it to be a little bit more isolated today. Thankfully, this little upper level low type system that's moved in over us has kind of, the thunderstorms that came through last night, it definitely zapped a little bit of that heat and that energy out of the atmosphere that we've had the past couple of days. With that in mind, it won't be, at least in the Atlanta metro, quite as hot as it's been on previous days, since we don't have those heat advisories and stuff out right now. And so you can still see some thunderstorms. Certainly could see a few of these get severe, but we're definitely not expecting things to be quite as widespread as they were yesterday, for sure.
Good deal. Let's talk about this heat real quick here. I don't like heat. I don't
either.
But it's coming down. But we're still going to see temperatures in the 90s, so that wave will continue.
Yeah. So it definitely isn't going to be as warm as it's been on the previous days. Like you said, we've still got temperatures though in the 90s, and that's going to bring our heat indices up to right at the triple digits. Again, not that like 105 to 110 that we've seen the past couple of days, but it's still going to be pretty toasty out there. So we don't have the heat advisory out necessarily over the metro. We do over northwest Georgia and folks up that way towards like Chattanooga and stuff like that. But at least for the metro, it will be relatively a little bit cooler, but you definitely need to still keep in mind that it's summer, it's Georgia, it's going to be hot.
Absolutely.
Take those heat precautions, make sure that you're still, drinking plenty of water, keeping hydrated if you're going to be outdoors. If you need to take a break, get inside, get out of that heat. We all know how to operate with the heat here in Georgia, for better or for worse.
All right, sounds good. Next week I'm going to ask you about the Peachtree Road Race. A lot of people watching, they want to know what the weather's going to be like for that. So go ahead, I'm going to tee you up for that for next week.
Sounds good.
All right, take care, my friend. We'll see you later.
You too.
All right.